This city has shaped me since childhood. All the reasons why I used to not like the city when I was younger, and now all the reasons why I love this city as I'm older. London's big, loud and busy, and that reflects on its inmates, making them bitter and keeping themselves in their cells. They're not residents, they're definitely inmates. As a child, I was often made to feel like an inmate in my own mind. I had a pretty pleasant upbringing. Elder brother and parents who were around as I grew up. Friends in school were a different story though. My circle of friends was bare and barren, and the circle of bullies around me was large and scary. I used to, and still do, come to the city and just walk around. It's a sort of escapism. I can blend in here, pretend I'm not a scarred self, be the person that childhood me wished he was. I can apologise for not giving myself the childhood I deserved.
Every second, every minute, every hour, I sit here and you torment me. Left to right you pass with an opaque glare. Your white blouse flows and flares throughout the rat race in front of me. And again you pass, a sparse step like an aggressive tango. But no matter how many times I wave or scream, you do not look. Again and again you pass, but with a silence that could only be described as solemn and deathly. Every blonde strand on your 1,000 bodies gives me goosebumps. And the sight of you could give me a cold sweat, like a horrific case of mumps. You are the brunt of my thoughts, and the main reason I'm eating this sandwich. You pass again and the faint whiff of the burnt bacon, tomato and crisp lettuce punches me, just like every other Sunday before. You walk alone in a crowd of commuters and ignorant personalities. The timeless tap of your petty change brings a weep and a tear. Every time I shout, my words blur and turn, giving me a lump in my throat. Mum, I miss you. Why are you crying, she whispers, and I wipe my tears and mumble. Because I wish I wish you weren't dead, Mum. I wish you weren't dead, Mum. I love you, Mum.
When I told him that I was going to keep you, baby, he told me that if I did, well, it don't really matter what he said, because I knew that was the end. So I packed a bag and left that evening with no money, but full of hope, because I knew I'd get to meet you soon. I've been working really hard, got us a nice place down the road from a park and a lovely school. I can't wait to show you. But there's something you must know before you arrive, baby, but you don't need to be scared, because I'm your mummy and I will always protect you. Sometimes he watches us behind the veil of a haunting. The air gets thick with absent father, poisonous berries, putrid drains and puke. He lives in the empty corners, the cupboards, the space beneath my bed. You might hear him crying in blue and black and crimson, begging us to wallow with him in his fruit fly filth. But none of that matters, because I love you more than it's possible to love someone, and I won't ever let him hurt you, baby. Eventually his red-hot crackling rage will subside and he'll fade into the shadows. When you get older, maybe you'll feel like something's missing. I won't be angry or upset because I understand. I felt like that most of my life too. Maybe we can fix each other, baby. You were created from incubus, but you're my angel, my reason. Come soon, baby. I will never forgive you. I will never forgive you for leaving me, leaving my sister, leaving my mom, hurting us, hurting our family, our life, our future. Sure, you came back, but that's not how it works. Being a father, a husband, is not a hobby. I bounce this ball like you bounce between our lives. You can't take time off whenever you feel like it. There are no breaks in love. Then it's not love. Love is not an obligation. You don't have to love. But when you love, you want to stay with them, take care of them. Careless, you cluelessly chase something. I don't trust you. And you're shit at tennis.
Dying would be an awfully great adventure. It would be beautiful until my eyes would close unwillingly, and everything would become still. An infinite sleep which absorbs you into the blackness of your own eyelids, then compromises with the foggy clouds that seem to seep through the ceiling of the sterile, unsettling room you so unfortunately found yourself in, one by one losing the senses we so desperately need to survive. Forgive me, Father, as I am no holy, arriving closer to the shared destiny of all humanity, accompanied by the sharp beeping so familiar to everyone around. And where is the color of aggression? The color of death. A sound so familiar takes away the joy of the life you have left. And it's frightening. Completely and utterly frightening. Together with the pain which ignites and spreads inside your fragile body like a satanic virus. Like venom which dissolves your insides in preparation to be sucked up by the god of the underworld himself. A pain so strong it shows no mercy. Pain which turns minutes into hours and hours into days upon days of punishment for the miserable life you lived. A torture which never seems to stop. The deafening screams of agony tangle with the silent prayer in which you beg for the abuse to end. Until it all becomes still. Paralyzed. Sleeping. And you can't think, you can't feel, you can't see, can't smell, and you can't hear. The flow stops. The persecution is finished, and so is your quest.
I remember walking to school and seeing plumes of smoke billowing from the moor, flames lapping up the heather and the shrubbery, devouring everything in its path. And I turned to my father and asked him why would they burn something so beautiful, and he replied, in his matter-of-fact way, that it be burnt so it can grow again. And that was the first time I noticed her shadow, my breath visible in the fresh air as we watched the purple burn away into grey. But now I notice her shadow more, a hand guiding young boys' knives, wiping away the tears of the one left behind, bent over and broken on the street, a curdled cry gurgling at his throat as she kisses his eyes. And she steps into the house of the perfect nuclear family, softly guiding away a parent from her children, who protests at first, kicking and screaming, a scream that can only be heard when a mother loses her child, manic and instinctive, but a single finger is placed over her lip, and she leaves quieter than the sleeping baby in his crib, as she regresses into her own childlike state, with big eyes and fingers picking at the hem of her dress. And I watch her by your bed, you, an ancient child in fetal position, registering her movements but not mine, her posture mimicking me, so you realise that she loves you, and she isn't ripping you away from us when you take her hand, but rather, she is a comfort for you until you need to find us again. And one day, I know she will come into focus, but there will be no screams, no shouts, no wails, just a soft thank you. Because I know she will bring me to the heather, and we will finally watch it together, our breath visible in the fresh air, as the purple burns into grey, telling me all of her secrets until we finally fade away.